Hey everybody, welcome back to Trekyards. He's Commander Cockings. Maybe. Maybe he's possessed. And I'm Captain Foley. Welcome back, guys. Yeah, today we're here to talk about Strange New World Season 3, Episode 5, Through the Lens of Time. Ooh.
All universes, all probabilities. And he's Captain Foley. See?
Hey, that's me.
Cause for the effect. There you go. Stuart, we got a strange new world. We got a strange new world.
I was going to say that. People that have been complaining about there's no Strange New Worlds in my Strange New Worlds, we got it. So.
And I've been fine with it because the stories are interesting and la. Right? Very interested what you think, Stuart, because this is definitely doing something specific. How did you feel? We just both finished watching it, obviously. How did you feel?
I rather enjoyed this one. There was definitely like suspense and build up, and I was thinking near the end, it's like, I'm glad that this is like a first time experience. If this is one that I had watched when I was a kid and don't remember the first time watching it, I don't know how I'd feel about it necessarily. But I really enjoyed the mystery aspect of this one, and
no spoilers helped.
Yeah, the strangeness of it for sure. There's a lot to kind of unpack here. I was right on two fronts. Firstly, Ensign Gamble knew he was going to die at some point. I already said that. So basically, yeah, they find a interdimensional prison, I guess, that possibly contained Gorn. There was a flash of some green alien, and then Patel freaked out on Gamble. So it's an interesting one. It's definitely going to tie into stuff later. I really thought this one was going to end with the Pike and Patel scene standing in front of the thing that we saw in the trailer, but didn't get that. Overall, I thought the episode was really good, except for the ending, which felt very, very rushed. It just kind of ended. Because I'm looking at the time going, and all of a sudden they walk outside. It's like, well, that was... I expected them to be in there for a while, like multiple different rooms, right? Didn't quite get that, but that's okay. It's not finished yet. It's obviously going to tie into stuff later. So overall, I'm fine with it. I hate that Gamble died. I really liked him, especially how this one started out with his personal log and him being so excited to be aboard the Enterprise and get his first away mission. Or emotional connection red shirt, I guess. Even though he's yellow shirt, although he had blood on his shirt. So anyway, it's fine. Corby coming back was great. And the moments between Chapel and Spock. There's a lot of great stuff in this one. So I enjoyed it. I really did. And I just wish that it would have been a little longer or ended a little differently. But besides that, I'm fine with it. So what about you? What are your thoughts on this one?
I don't know if you felt the same, but it was an episode where I was first of all, I thought, okay, this is a Data's day with the kid, right? With the new guy. And then I thought, damn, he got an episode before Tiga's. That's super unfair. And she's not really in this one. So again, she's been sidelined. But like, this is about him. It also made sense. But that's how I felt going in. Like, really? He got on before her. But he was great, of course. Like the interplay, I liked they addressed the chapel and on thing right up the gate. Although, of course, saying no labels, just having fun. Wow, Spock was at a... okay. Interesting. Unique. Cool. So that was... They addressed it, we moved straight past it. Good. Spock was more stoic, but that works. Moving on. Then I was pleased they went to a quarry and not an LED room for a bit. Practical sets. That was nice. But I was still like, okay, this is okay. Right? Nothing, I always about the cake analogy. Like this is a very plain cake. Nothing's happened so far that's interesting. But once they started escalating, the roller coaster kept going up, and I found myself being more and more engaged because it was doing more and more. So I think it was probably a little bit too much setup to the middle. But then, as you say, they kept the middle until the last few minutes, which they needed it, right? They were doing a lot of stuff, but the wrap-up was very much a to-be-continued versus a wrap-up, which worked. That's all going to come into play, so I was actually fine with the ending, because it's meant to be sort of like, whoa, see you next time. But yeah, I definitely enjoyed it much more by the end, because it gave you a lot more, which I appreciate. Sad to see the Ensign go. I definitely assumed that would have been a multi-episode arc of him in the brig, with an alien. At least one more. I was shocked they took him out in one. Genuinely shocked, because he did a good job being that performance. And what an advanced creature! You know, he can phase through a force field. I mean, that was obviously like lots of creatures can see minds, but going through technology, that was like, oh no. So that was really, again, it escalated in nice ways. So that was one of those nice ones. So that was good. When Patel fought them, I was like, great, we've actually connected it now to the grander world. That was good. We knew something was going to happen there. That was interesting, unexpected, and the good choreography. I liked her going animalistic. That I thought was well choreographed and just nicely done for what it was. And yeah, I'm confused in a good way because they weren't helpful in telling us. The way they presented it was that these are proto-Gorn from the distant past, because she's fighting one of her descendants who is like a blood feud through genetic memory. Is that interesting?
Ancestors.
Sorry.
Ancestors, not descendants.
Sorry, yeah. I always got that one wrong. Because you need the genetic memory component to have that literal connection, especially as they even do language to each other. Like, it was very, very literal. In that, how I took it, and if Spock saw a Gorn embryo, egg, whatever, that was, that's the problem. If you make animals look like Gorn and Gorn look like animals, that was clearly a Gorn until they start showing us graphics. Oh, it's mostly Gorn, but not quite. It's like, well, don't make it animal then. So I'm either guessing it was literally a proto-Gorn from the distant past who's been kept alive because of science, or it's he was afraid of something, so he saw his fear. But he wasn't feared of Gorn. That's everyone else. That's not a Spock thing. So I wouldn't have, like, if that was La'an or Ortega's, but that wouldn't make sense for Spock. So that...
But it links to the mind meld with Patel, where they both saw the Gorn kind of in that weird mind meld stage.
It's not a strong enough connection, and it was then... They would then link to just being Gorn again, which is potentially fine, but maybe not. So if it is that they're saying that ancient Gorn created this site and then became blue people, I mean, hey, trillion years, things happen, right? I don't know. And they worked out how to preserve themselves by staying alive in bubbles. I mean, hey, we'll talk about that in a minute. I kind of thought they were going to go Iconian at one point, which I didn't want, but... because they had gateways that you could have made that ancient Iconian, that would have been something, but glad they didn't, but they could have. The only thing about the ending I didn't like was that they never explained or expressed that Scotty was rebuilding the shattered ball. It was a broken orb. There's no reason at all to think it after shattered and exploded, it could recombine, and never once they set it up. So that's definitely they just dropped the ball on any exposition of that, because he did one line saying, "You need to recreate this, Scotty." Good, cool. So that was definitely, I'm gonna say a plot hole because you can explain it, but they dropped the ball on that plot point because it just was out of nowhere.
That's the one part of the ending I didn't like. The whole capturing it in the thing, because and then throwing it in the transporter buffer. It's fine. We'll just keep a dangerous.
Was Scotty ready to site lock on in 1 second? They can't do that. Like, they're not that clever. Like a ball this big, 1 second, side to side, out of space. Like, he was ready for that, but he wasn't. Or, like, that's not how good transporters are, guys. Yet.
When she asked where he beamed it, I was like, to the Klingons' transporter room, or the Klingons' engineering, just like the Tribbles. It'll be no Tribble at all over there.
Wah, wah. Yeah, I thought it was going to be deep space, and as it warped away at the end, I thought it was going to crack open, and then it become a TOS classic amorphous blob, which we often get, and that would have been like a fun, like, because I was wondering if there were any point going to link it into a TOS energy life form, because they had avenues to. But yeah, so there you go. That was my spiel. Where do you want to jump off from? Because there's lots of things to discuss.
Well, just you mentioned TOS, and that's one of the things I was thinking during this whole episode was that this is a really ugly episode. Like, I'm trying to get screen caps for like a first reaction trailer and stuff, and it's all gray. It's all so all
the good was the spoilers as well. All of
the
them.
ending. The ending with Mbenga in the in the science lab with pointing the phaser, and he's got the like multicolored lights behind him. I'm like, that was very welcome, because I miss TOS planets. I miss pink skies, green skies, colorful plants, colorful interiors for buildings. And a lot of people, but that's not realistic. I get it, but you could have just changed the hue of the sky from a classic gray sky to anything else. Or have some colorful plants lying around. or something. I don't mind the interior of the building so much, but yeah, that's one thing about just like new Star Trek is it's not poppy in a way that TOS was to get the TOS vibe. Small thing, but it's something I was thinking the entire episode, so I thought it's worth mentioning.
Yeah, and I've done plenty of sky replacement things where it sucks, but they weren't outside that much. And a grey is a pretty flat key, so it wouldn't have been impossible to do that for sure. That's okay. I thought the inside got more interesting, so I was fine with the visuals. And like I say, the fact they developed the logic continuously, I like the fact they're all in the same room. That was quite interesting. I was. It seems weird to say I was worried for a second that Spock's cut was going to be some interdimensional leech that attacked him was gonna take him over in episode 7. I was like, I don't really want that. So luckily that wasn't. I was happy with, that.
And I gotta say, new coats. Yes, they're the same away team coats as the first 2 seasons, but now with a hood. So more merchandise to sell or buy, as the case may be. And I like the little. I like that they don't have the shoulder ones. The lights like Discovery here. They have just like one that straps over the shoulder, which I thought was really nice touch.
It was less obnoxious and it allowed for more gentle uplighting on their faces, which they used a lot because there's no light in a dark, empty interior room when there's no light. Yeah.
The other thing, I mean, honestly, the interaction of Spock and Chapel, she walks in, Lieutenant Spock, and he just doesn't say anything, was great. The whole Chapel and La'an thing, also
That
great.
was great.
La'an's like, don't be one of those women. That's why I don't do this. She's like, no, I'm good.
She was not good. She was not.
I'm glad that the La'an and Spock thing wasn't like overdone on the planet's surface or anything. It just wasn't a thing, which is great.
But it was, though, which is called good writing. There was a couple of little things where she actively trusted him more than she would have a bit earlier. And the one line I really loved, and the acting, go back, I'm sure you caught it, but go back and as audience, when they initially open the thing and the blood thing, whatever, she says fascinating.
Yeah.
And then Chapel looks at her like,
Spock's wearing off on you.
So, and then he says it later, and it's like such a nice, because she could say it, but I wouldn't associate that being a common phrase, but even Chapel caught it, and that's like a really nice, because they said 6 months have passed, and it was a 3-month refit, so it's going to be at least a month in between the last episode, because it's not like next day, it's going to be some time. So that was actually really like nice, because they are very intense people who both keep their emotions more in check, so they can go dance lessoning and then go do the duty and then have dinner, and it's just 2 nights a week kind of thing, and then have the interaction. So that was very organic for being as inorganic as those characters could be. It was well done.
And that was also mentioned too. She's a good dance partner at the beginning, and then at the end, I trust you, just don't step on my toes.
Yeah.
Little references to dancing, right?
Because I'd imagine that Spock certainly wouldn't tell people they're whatevering, so he's just covering the dance lessons. But then she's like, I know. He's like, like subtly, ugh.
Oh, yeah. And I think the Spock Corby relationship's cool now too. I mean, it's funny. You're friends now, right? Relatively, well, it's a relative term kind of thing. And because they had the little adventure with the Trelane entity, right? So, and that's not. It's subtly there. Like Corby kind of gives him a smile or two, like this guy.
Although at the end, of course, they do play the "do you trust your old boyfriend or new boyfriend's expertise?" And she trusts Spock, and it's a little bit. It's not very highly played, but it's enough to be like, yeah, I can see that. But I think those that do breakups, whatever, when you then get a new partner, you're gonna be less sad about the old one. So Spock should be more okay with Corby because he's now got La'an, kind of. So that made sense to evolve. But seeing Chapel be so, was it? Yeah, it was interesting.
Yeah. I just love Corby. Like, I won the bet. I told you you'd have to come down and see this for yourself. The whole, we're going to need a bigger landing party thing. We're going to need a bigger boat.
Yeah, I was genuinely impressed by just the visuals that they opened up. I'm not sure how they exactly broke that mountain, but whatever. But that's a really
deflector beam.
Whatever. Very TOS. But I really did like how big the scale was and the architecture and the fact they also built some of it and then not was just a nicely done thing. That reminds me. So as I was about halfway through, as like I say, it evolves every other scene, which is great. I thought, I'm watching Ghosts of Mars.
Yeah.
Just without the brutal body horror. Love that movie. Fantastic. Really enjoy it. It's weird as hell. Got a 4K. It very much is that, but not. So I was relating on that level. So as soon as I realized that, I was like, oh, it's gonna be a prison. Very early on, like just the structure of it made sense. But it's a trope's the wrong word. It's not done that much, but I've not seen it before in Trek. I say that, it probably has been done in Voyager or Par Wraith or whatever. But I was like, okay, yeah, I buy this. My big question is going to be, this could have seriously been a season 1 episode with the antagonist to the 5-season arc. That's the level this one could have been. So I'm very intrigued if this is going to play in a big way, because they have such a potential villain here. And a Gorn connection or not, which we'll get into, I'm sure, in a minute. Like, how much do you want them to lead into this? Because this could be the groundbreaking episode that defines the next 2 seasons.
It gave me shades of TNG, where the ghost crew inhabits the bodies of Data and Troy and stuff. Like, I can see that being a thing, but it's I think it's going to be more of a link to the Gorn. Could be that these are enemies of the Gorn that captured the Gorn and enslaved them here, or this was their way of removing the Gorn from their own bodies, confining them in these little capsules. And I don't know, because with interdimensional stuff, you can separate the body from the Gorn infection, put the Gorn in the things.
That I actually quite like, because I hadn't even considered that. But yeah, if the Gorn 4 billion years ago was giant plague of creatures, and this race was just heavily infected, and they could subdue them but not remove them, as we've sort of seen, and then they had to remove their essence, put them into the balls, which would explain why it felt like the exact same clip of the screaming dog, not Gorn, Gorn. So if that was the representative of an embryo of a young Gorn, then that would link. That's actually a very smart way of doing it. So it literally is a Gorn prison, which does not force the planet to be Gorn, but it gives you this interesting. Yeah, I like that. That's. But then the only problem with that, though, is that now you're adding that now Gorn kept in a biofield, released into a random human, can read minds and phase through force fields.
It might be a different entity. It just might be a prison. And he saw a Gorn, but the other thing that was in...
I see. Okay.
Gamble wasn't a Gorn, just another criminal. That gave me the shades of the TNG episode.
Yeah.
So.
And that's... Okay, yeah, that would be the ancient enemy of the Gorn, blah, blah, memory. Because they recognize each other, so they had to know directly something, which is why that was the most interesting scene, because that's the scene that takes us beyond this episode.
Well, that's... The guy that inhabited Gamble, he would be the people that the Gorn were fighting with that created the prison. He's just one of their criminals. So that's why when Patel saw him, the Gorn and her lashed out at him because they're ancient enemies or something.
Yeah.
It might not be that. Yeah.
You found a good way around this.
Yeah.
It's appropriately vague, which works.
Yeah.
Because they really, and I was kind of looking for it when the creature leaves the body at the end. They could have given it a green hue with a slight animalistic vibe if they were saying Gorn, and it was a blue and it was just classic TOS. So yeah, that would have been the obvious visual trick, and it wasn't. So interesting, yeah.
And you mentioned body horror too, like his eyes being removed. Did not expect that. Like when he falls back, there's a great visual of his eyes being like red.
Yeah.
So when I thought when he uncovered them, we were going to see glowing eyes, but then just to have like empty sockets. Yeah. It was great. The makeup and stuff.
Yeah. This sounds so harsh, but I think you're going to agree. When he was on the bed and great acting and he reveals his eyes, I thought the episode has finally arrived. Like we've hit the moment where we've done something really special that is now memorable and interesting and unusual and powerful, and now we can start the story fully. And I was right in terms of like things escalated, like because it was a really great effect. It was hidden for long enough that it meant something at the end. Yeah, it was great. It was very much. I haven't seen it in a long time, but flashbacks to Event Horizon. That kind of lost eyes and thing. Not quite that dramatic. It was far more literal. He just had no eye sockets, versus it like corrupting his body. It didn't escalate, which it could have, and I probably would have been fine with that. Although I guess I like no glowing. Yeah, it was tastefully done, while not being too sci-fi silly, which allowed more body horror. But I could have seen him evolving the look, because boy, when they said he's dead, that was a great little moment, because they had already set up the idea that this race, like every concept kept being in flux. I guess that's a joke as well. But they'd said that they had immortality by getting out of phase. So that could have been the energy is what put his brain out of phase so he couldn't read it anymore. So that could have been absolutely fine. You're now immortal, son, or you're dead and you're taken over. So that was a nice either way, so that it wasn't setting a precedent in stone. It was still open for interpretation until, obviously, he's a demon spawn.
The other thing I really appreciate about this episode was kind of an ensemble cast. Feel like everybody got something to do. Pelia was back. Pelia was really good in this one, I think. Being a Lanthanite, she's like, that's ancient. That's older than anything I've ever seen. And just her warnings about it.
Lanthanite child. It's like, well, okay then.
Yeah. So I really appreciated that. Number one didn't get much to do. I love the inclusion of Ortigas's brother, though, documenting it. And that actually kind of solved one of the problems because it could see them all in the same room. That was a nice little touch.
And low-key setup. It was just a gentle thing. It wasn't big, but it was there. And it definitely felt that's going to be in play later. There was a small setup here for a small fix and then a bigger thing later. I can see it being.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, I appreciated that we got to see everybody doing something at least.
That said, of course, for me, I thought number one's performance at the start wasn't good. She'd only got like 3 lines, but about the deflector, I didn't believe her. It felt like she had a hard time learning technobabble and she couldn't deliver it organically. Hard to do, but I didn't think, and that's the second time now in 5 episodes I thought she had to go a sort of a bad performance, which is rare for this show. So I was like, okay. But then Pelia, I thought she really lifted above. I think though, maybe as an actress, maybe she has more not experience, but maybe she has more acting experience in delivering dramatic, dark performances. So I really believed her horror when previously she's doing stuff that I didn't quite believe because it's just more awkward for her to speak and do. But she had a lot of depth in the darkness performance-wise that I think she nailed. Would I want to see every week her being really upset? No, but it worked here, right? And then I genuinely laughed out loud both times during a second take. That's such a clever line, and at the end it was really well done because she's so... I mean, having written a Lanthanite now for a couple of years with Marie and my fan films, they come from a different perspective, and you can never share that perspective. It's so specific, It's like the Doctor in Doctor Who, kind of like life comes and goes, and you continue. So she knows it doesn't really matter if the mood here is somber. If he needs a better angle for Time Memoriam, I'll do it again. You'll forget about this moment in a day, but this might help some because I'll do.
She just likes being in front of the camera. She's a bit of a diva. It's like, if you need to come down to engineering.
Yeah, both. Yeah,
I like being in front of the camera. Yeah.
I'd imagine she might have really enjoyed TV back in the day, and so she's like, still got memories of that, So yeah, she was definitely good in this. Scotty was there, but not much. But he had a lot of time. That's absolutely fine. Ortega's got nothing.
Worried about her brother.
Void of content. Which is sad.
That's fine. Not everybody can have something.
I know, but when the new kid got more lines this week than she got in 2 seasons, give or take,
she'll get a lot more. Don't worry.
I have faith in the show, but I thought she'd have more to do by now because I thought they'd acknowledged that she was underused. But that's fine. Just what do you think of the I guess the non-reveal that he's just some guy to Joseph?
Yeah, I was expecting something more there a few times because we had talked maybe he's a nephew or, some kind of relative. And with the way they were kind of talking at one point, it's like, it's going to come out? No. Okay. Just a favorite ensign, just somebody that he really likes and got along with. So, yeah, I'm not upset that he wasn't related to him, but it felt like there was something more there. So,
yeah, I was intrigued and didn't mention his name for the first half of the episode, even though they could have. So I assumed when he finally was mentioned, they'd say Ensign Benga, or therefore would be the name drop that is revealed to us, the audience, but not to the characters in the show. And we're like, oh, he's actually, suddenly bring it in, and it was just some guy. So I was like, I like their friends, but boy, informality on the ship really needs to get a grip on it. Because the amount of friends they were after being there for so frequent, it's just not professional. And there's always a line, and even supporting him, call him Joseph. It's like, no, it's like Chapel walking saying Leonard. It's like it would have felt so weird, like Picard can say Beverly because they almost sort of dated and blah blah blah. But Riker going saying hello Beverly, it just feels weird. So I don't like that. It's fine if it's a pre-established connection, but it wasn't. So I now like those scenes less in episode 1, 2, whatever. But I guess they had to force feed us we care about him by making him more friendly. But
Told you.
yeah, a little bit let down on that. But that's okay.
Yeah.
Grand scheme is okay.
Yeah. No, overall, I thought it was a pretty enjoyable episode. I loved the mystery aspect of it. Did I get frustrated a few times? Maybe a little, but not too bad. Love that the guy got disintegrated running for the door.
I didn't. That was sad.
Well, it was sad, but it was a great visual, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Really upped the stakes, and then the door closed. So.
Although it could have done with some explanation, because it makes sense a defense system against the prisoners escaping, but why the hell are you letting a random alien in? Like, that's not the blood of people who have got access. I wish there was something that would allow explanation why a random alien from 10,000 years in the future her DNA is allowed access to this thing. Like, it should have been the guy, in terms of, like, if he's a descendant, yeah? Or it should have been Patel if you want to go Gorn connection, right? Like, just a bit weird, right?
Yeah, the full body scan, I thought the same thing. There's going to be something, but...
And also got a little bit of cube flashbacks, where it's same set, different context. And I liked that, one set shifting realities and all that, and they kind of went into a little bit about, you know, the statues sort of alive, sort of not. I was waiting for a bit more of a tangible, you know, this alien race, because there's a great Doctor Who story, I won't say which one, but where there is genuine immortality as a concept, and you do get it, but the trade-off is that you're then locked in a structure and you can't move. So you're alive, but it's now a living death in a sense. So it's, wow, great, I'm alive forever in a statue, super. It's immortality, technically. So it would have been nice if they'd had a little... I was interested so much, I wanted a bit more about this race did find immortality, and the trade-off was that they lose almost all their ability to interact with the universe. And then blah, 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 right? But I mean, how much can they discover in 2 hours on a planet without... So I'm fine with that. I was genuinely interested, so I kind of hope... I mean, we're going to see more, given the techie ending at the end with the creature being in the code, which is obviously very classic TOS vibes, or TNG vibes, whatever. But I'm hoping we get more on that planet, because I feel like it earned a second go.
Yeah, like, I thought it might be the planet from What Little Girls Are Made Of, because the beginning, they talk about Corby's research on moving corporeal whatever into different bodies, which is what he does, essentially, in TOS. So I thought that was going to be the same planet. I was waiting to see big, like, stalagmites and stalactites in his caves and stuff like that. I think that might be one of the reasons I was a little let down with the blandness of the episode. Because I was kind of hoping that it might be the same planet and have the same kind of visuals, but...
It's a stepping stone to that, stepping stone. Whereas I thought the room was reasonably interesting, because, again, the trailers, I was worried we were going to get... Not that it was bad, but Discovery, the last couple of episodes, when she's in the whatever facility... was an interesting visual, but it got very tiresome very quickly, and it felt very digital. Hard to do, of course, I'm not complaining per se, just like it didn't feel as good as it could have. This, when the trailer came out and you saw this sort of space, I thought we were going to get something similar. And it was, but it was really more TOS grounded, in single room, bit smarter, bit more structured, and I appreciated they just did it better and also easier.
Yeah, I got some Doctor Strange vibes from the moving background.
Yeah,
with the walls reshifting and stuff. I thought that was pretty cool.
We didn't play, so that's why I'm assuming we're gonna get another one in this location, because there's more. They did a good job of adding more without showing it, or showing it but not telling it. So I'm assuming there's gonna be more.
Yeah, we're either gonna get more in this exact location, or we're gonna find another one, because, like I said in the trailer, there's a visual of Patel and Pike standing side by side in front of that portal thing, and when you see the reverse shot behind them. It's the same, like, pillars and stuff. So yeah,
and also remember they fire a deflector in, same thing as in the episode today. And also I could have sworn now that it was clear the art design was in this. I could have sworn I remember seeing the blue guys in those clips in the background, like
I think so,
loitering. Yeah. So it's like one of their colonies. I made a point of saying this stuff, this idea has crossed multiple planets. And a proper another Iconian level ancient race, it felt like, because they said galaxy, which was a big... Although, how the hell do you get evidence of galaxies? Sorry, where's that coming from? You don't know. You haven't got a galaxy to test that hypothesis. What are you on about? Great band.
Yeah.
No, it's good. Now, the question, though, for you, and this is sort of a spoiler mildly for our other content, but second watch, I think, will change the vibe, so I want to ask you now. Is this first reactioning your favourite of the 5? Because it's the most Star Trek exploration.
I'm going to say no, because I really enjoyed every episode for specific reasons. But yes, this is the most Star Trek-like Strange New Worlds type adventure.
And TOS. Most TOS
type adventure. Yep. So in that regard, yes, it is. I don't know how it's going to be. I don't know how it's going to be on a rewatch, knowing what's going on. It might screw the pacing up. I thought the pacing was pretty good, honestly. It felt very natural and not rushed. I appreciated going back to the ship because, like I said, the more bright visuals of the ship really helped me with this episode because it was very dark and dreary.
Yeah.
So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how it is on another watch through or two. Yeah, that's a good question. But yeah, it did feel very, very TOS in its storytelling, which I appreciated. And right away, within the first 10 minutes, I was like, yeah, all these people that were just complaining in other lives that where's the Strange New Worlds, and my Strange New Worlds should be happy. So yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It was wait to review it for the second watch. Because I'm interested.
Which you're watching this review now, but later today at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we'll be doing our live review and breakdown of this episode where we watch it again and we break it down in detail. It'll be interesting to see how that ends and what the scoring for this is. So make sure you join us for that.
Yeah, we'll see how scene by scene, if we see the setups, the payoffs, whatever, if we see the different ties, what the audience reaction is. We want to know what you guys think. But in this review, let us know what you think in the comments down below. Super thanks if you can, all helps the channel, or then do the lives example tonight, super chat if you can, and go back and watch Stuart's first reaction as well, because he gets to talk to you, and it says I'm sure he's watched it more than once. Future will watch it more than once in the past of you doing this.
It's weird because, yeah, my first reaction was last night, even though for me right now it's tonight, so I haven't done it yet. But you guys can go back and watch it right now.
You can't speak first react to it, even though this is your first reaction, because that's not the format that we do. Excellent.
Yeah, well, different plane. I haven't cut myself yet. Apparently, I do that.
This is very true. And of course, support us on Patreon if you can, or join the channel on YouTube. Monthly is a huge thing for us, so if you can, please do. If you enjoy this content, consider.
Yeah. Make sure you're subscribed, hit the like button, and ring the bell notification icon to all so you get notified when we do all the things we do in the weird timeline that we have when we do these things. So anyway, until next time, he's Commander Cocky.
He's Foley. Bye, guys.